napakalaki na na-develop yung lung capacity nila to store air. Yan po ang ano, yan po talaga ang sikreto ng paghabang buhay. Nasubukan nyo to para maintindihan yung sinasabi ko. Subukan nyo lang to. Hawakan nyo yung ilong nyo, alright? And then isarado nyo yung bibig nyo. Bibilang lang tayo ng segundo, mahihirapan ka na. Promise. In fact, baka ilang minutes pa lang, tutumba ka, mahihimatay ka kung hindi kita pahihingahin. Tama? Because that is how important energy is. All right? Pag nadideplete siya, 'di ba? Bagsak ka kagad. And now the controller of your life force on a physical level is yung lung capacity mo. All right? And whenever you practice breath work, lumalaki yung lung capacity. Kaya nga yung mga Chinese, nakikita nyo naman sa TV yan, di ba? Yung mga nagme-meditation tsaka breathing exercise, yung Tai Chi, yung mga gumaganong ganon, mga ganong-ganon sa umaga. Ewan ko napapanood nyo yan eh. Ano ba ginagawa nila doon? Di ba? Ano yun eh? Nagte-take in sila ng energy ng universe, di ba? Nagbe-breathe in sila. Kaya nga, yung mga Chinese, makikita nyo sobrang tanda na ng mga gumagawa niyan, di ba? Gumagawa, tapos may peace of mind sila, tahimik sa park, puro puno, then nagta-tai chi sila doon. Pero actually, humihigop sila ng life force. Alright? Now, pag humihinga tayo, hindi lang yan oxygen, no? Ang hinihinga mo dyan is energy. Alright? Physical kasi tawag natin oxygen. But really, itong empty space, alright, in between all of this, alright, na hindi natin nakikita, is the field of energy. It's called the field. Yan yung tawag ni Greg Braden. So, kumukuha tayo doon ng energy para pumasok sa atin para ngayon, pwede tayong magbuga ng energy sa pangarap natin, yung breath of life natin. So ngayong alam mo na, pag malaki yung capacity mo to store energy, pag umihip ka ng energy doon sa kotse mo, mabilis mo ba siyang mapupuno o mabagal pag malaki yung container mo? Sige nga, okay, 'di ba? Mas mabilis. Kasi nga malaki yung container mo eh. Yung 'di ba? Ngayon pag ubos na yung energy mo agad, andito ka pa lang, hindi pa siya ma-attract. Kaya nga yung iba, kaka-practice nila ng breathwork netong tinuturo natin, sobrang lakas na nila makapasok ng energy sa katawan nila, sa kanilang spirituality. Pagbuga pa lang nila ng energy, kotse, 7 days, 3 days, nasa kanila na yung pambili. 'Di ba? Yung 1 million kaya nilang i-attract ng 3 oras lang. Kaya nilang gumawa ng 10 million pesos, 'di ba? Isang araw lang. Pero yung mahina ang storage ng energy at maliit, mabagal siya mag-attract. Alright. Okay. Nasusundan ba? Nag-enjoy ba kayo? Nag-enjoy ba kayo sa natututunan nyo? Ito yung secret. Yung ang dami yung pinag-aralan sa eskwelahan eh. Ito yung pagyaman. Okay, kaya nga breathwork is really, nako, pag nakita nyo pa yung mga scientific studies ngayon, meron ngayon, hanapin nyo sa YouTube si Iceman. Hanapin nyo si Iceman, idol ko yan eh. Okay, lagi ako pinag-aaralan ko yung mga technique niya kasi ano eh, no? Isipin nyo, nagawa niya na kaya niyang mabuhay sa ice, 'di ba? Sa North Pole and sa kung saan-saan pa in solid ice ng ilang araw tapos hindi siya nagkakasakit, 'di ba? Hindi siya tinatablan. Wala siyang damit pumupunta siya sa ice nang wala siyang damit. Breathing ang power. Alright, breathing ang power. So bibigyan ko kayo ng mga techniques dito. Alright, nasundan ba? Now, let's go to what we're going to study. Paano natin i-expand ito? Gagamit tayo ng tinatawag na triangular diaphragmatic breathing. So this is a different way of breathing. Now ano ito, no? Ito na yung concept. Nung bata tayo, nung nasa loob tayo ng tiyan ng nanay at tatay natin, yung paghinga natin, yun yung binigay ng Diyos na natural sa atin. Ano yung paghinga ng tama? Diaphragmatic breathing yung ginagawa ng lahat ng baby. Ano yung diaphragmatic breathing? Pag nag-inhale tayo, lumalaki yung tiyan natin. Okay, lumalaki yung tiyan natin. Alright, then yung chest natin nagtatighten. Alright, pero ang nangyayari dito, pag breathe out na tayo, lumiliit yung tiyan. Alright? Pero ano nangyari sa atin? 'Di ba? Binaliktad 'yan ng PE teacher natin. Yan yung may kasalanan. Bakit hindi ka yumaman? yung PE teacher mo. Dahil ano ba tinuro sa eskwelahan? Okay? Ano tinuro sa eskwelahan? Put your hands on your side. Everybody, inhale. Pag inhale, stomach in. Breathe out, stomach out. Binaliktad yung paghinga natin ng natural na paghinga natin. Nakuha nyo? Nakuha nyo? Pansinin mo ngayon paano ka huminga. Pag huminga ka ngayon, ang breathe in mo, pumapasok yung tiyan, ang breathe out mo, lumalabas yung tiyan. Yun yung mali. So ngayon, itatama ngayon ni Sir John Calub yan. Kailangan makabalik tayo sa original God nature natin. 'Di ba? Paano tayo huminga nung baby pa tayo? Nasa loob tayo ng tiyan ng nanay natin. Pag inhale natin, 'di ba? Mag-expand yung tiyan natin, all right? Then ito na yung gagawin natin. Pa-practicein natin 'yan. Okay? Na mag-expand, then contract, breathe, pag-breathe out natin. Kuha nyo? So ito, tawag dito, ang tagal, pre-practice ko to ng pre-practice hanggang ma-reverse ko yung breathing ko. Kaya nga may nagtatanong sa akin, Sir John, paano ka nakakagawa ng seminar? 'Di ba? 5 oras nagsasalita ka, hindi ka napapagod. Kasi nga, iba yung paghinga ko. Yung paghinga ko, yung hinga ng tama. Yung original na paghinga. Yung ibang tao, kapos na sila sa hangin kasi baliktad yung paghinga nila. Gets? Alright? Na-gets nyo? Alright. So ngayon, para mabigyan kayo ng mas malalim na ano nito, okay, papasok tayo sa isang video na tuturuan kayo ng basics of diaphragmatic breathing. Pero mamaya, sasabihin ko bakit triangular. Dadagdagan pa natin siya bakit siya triangular. Alright? Nakuha ba? So let's watch this video about yung tinatawag na diaphragmatic breathing. Alright? Para meron kayong meron lang kayong this specific idea how diaphragmatic breathing is happening. Kasi hindi ko mapapakita yung chan ko dito sa screen dahil mawawala yung ulo ko eh. Okay? So dito na lang natin panoodin sa video.
This short video is about the breath in meditation. And it can be really complicated. People have written books about the breath, and there are chapters on how to breathe when we're meditating. I want to give a really simple version because it can become overwhelming when there's too much information. So during meditation, there's really 2 ways to breathe. One is on purpose, when we're getting ready, and the other is not putting any effort at all into the breath and trying to let the body do the work. And so what I mean by that is the first part, it's called abdominal or diaphragmatic breathing. And that may not come naturally to us, but that's actually the most natural form of breathing, and that's what babies do. And there are some benefits to that specific type of breathing in relaxing the nervous system by activating what's called the vagus nerve. And here's basically what we do for the first 1, 2, or 3 breaths before we sit in any meditation. We take a nice deep breath without raising the shoulders. Instead, we lower the diaphragm like a piston going down, which expands the lungs, and then the belly button moves outward. We soften the belly. So breathing in, the diaphragm moves down and the belly moves out, in through the nose. And as we breathe out through the mouth, we breathe out very slowly, letting the belly button move back in, and the diaphragm contracting the lungs again. And once more. And blowing out very slowly. That's diaphragmatic breathing. And once we've done that, we let go of trying to regulate the breath at all. In meditation, we're simply becoming curious to what's happening. We're not trying to change anything, we're just studying in a way. So part of that is beginning to notice how we're breathing as a signal to how the body is, how the mind is. And there can be a correlation between the quality of our breath, how we're breathing, and the quality of our mind and our emotional state. So for instance, if you're feeling stressed out, it may be the very earliest sign you notice that you're breathing a little quicker. So before you even know that you're worried about something, you notice, hey, wait a second, that breath is kind of quick. Or the opposite may be. You may be watching a sunset or doing something nice, and with that, you notice that your breathing is really slow and steady. Instead of 15 breaths a minute, which many of us do when we're running around during the day, it may go down to a more relaxed 5 or 6 breaths a minute, which has its own benefits for reducing stress effects on our body. Let's talk about the breath in a little more detail. So when we're meditating, it's not uncommon to focus on the breath for a few breaths or for a minute or even for an hour or a couple of hours. And what we want to do is we want to pretend like we've never had a breath before. And that sounds a little bit funny. Stick with me for a second. There's this concept in meditation and in Zen called the beginner's mind. And the idea is that so much of the trouble we get into in our day-to-day lives is because we already have these stories that we've written about what we're about to do. So it's like, I already know the person that I'm about to meet. I'm not going to learn anything new. So one way to step back and to get away from all these stories and all these thoughts and all these preconceived notions about other people in our lives is to pretend like everything is new, just for a moment. Now, I'm not going to try to forget that I know how to put my shoes on. That would make getting work a little bit harder in the morning. But I may, in the morning, brush my teeth with the opposite hand to kind of practice that beginner's mind, to get more aware of sensations that I had forgotten were automatic. So when we take a beginner's mind to our breath, we're becoming curious about the entire breath in and the entire breath out. And once we've done that for a while, we start to notice and remember that there's actually a space between the breath in and the breath out. And we notice there's another space between the breath out and the breath back in. So there's 4 places where we can start to notice and pay attention to the air moving in and out through the nostrils, the feeling of the ribs expanding as the lungs expand, or the feeling of the belly moving out and moving in, like the waves in the ocean. And you can really choose whatever area is best for you. I personally like the sensation, and I can really notice the breath moving in and out through my nostrils. But there's sometimes when I notice it better at my belly. What we want to do is, when we're starting a meditation practice, to pick one of those areas, either the nostrils or the chest or the belly, and at least for that period of time, stick with it. And every time the mind starts to go somewhere else, we bring it back to the awareness of the breath. There's an important point here. And when we're just starting, we hear, pay attention to your breath. And so sometimes we think, oh, is that my breath? And what does that feel like? Oh, that's smooth and that's not. We're not thinking about the breath. We're really experiencing the breath. We're simply noticing the sensations without describing them too much. We may use one word like short or smooth, but we're not telling stories. We're really trying to notice what it feels like. And this may be the first time for many of us that we're paying attention to something that we've been doing since we were born, and we will do until we die. If you want to increase the ability to concentrate on the breath while we're meditating, because it's really hard when we're starting. The mind is all over the place, kind of like a puppy running around. One way to increase our attention on the breath is to give a gentle label or a note. Like when I'm breathing in, I'll silently say to myself, in. And when I'm breathing out, I'll use the word out to cover over the entire out breath. And that allows us to become aware of the entire breath with more focus. We're kind of giving our mind something to do so it can't run all over the place. Something else that's very effective is numbering the breaths. So in the first breath of a sequence, we can silently say very slowly as we breathe in, 1, and as we breathe out, 1. And the next breath, 2 and 2. And we may count up to 5 and then start over, or count up to 10, whatever feels right for you. There are lots of ways of counting the breath. We can give 1 when we're breathing in, and 2 when we're breathing out, and 3 when we're breathing in, and 4 when we're breathing out. It's not important exactly how you use these techniques, just to know that they're available, because when we're first starting out in meditating, it can seem impossible. So thanks for joining.
Alright. So I hope you picked up something from that short video. Okay, so ganito no, para maintindihan natin, pag nag-i-inhale tayo, anong nangyayari? Ipo-push down natin yung belly natin, kaya nga siya lalaki, di ba? So pag pinu-push down natin siya, so mararamdaman niyo no. So sabay tayo, ready, let's breathe. Ngayon, kailangan okay, ito yun, no, meron tayong tinatawag na regular breathing. Ito yung paghinga natin. Saan ko kayo dadalhin? Dadalhin ko kayo sa, ang meditation breathing kasi, or papunta sa alpha, ang tawag dito, conscious breathing. Okay, conscious, ibig sabihin conscious ka na gusto mong i-monitor at makontrol yung paghinga mo. Alright? Conscious ka na, aware ka na huminga ka para ma-relax ka. Now, ano yung concept nito, no? Again, pag stress ka, marami kang problema, yun ang iniisip mo, yung paghinga mo mababaw, di ba? In out ka, in out, di ba? Nag-aalala ka eh. Pero pag kaya mong linisin yung isip at puso mo, nagiging kalmado ka, gamit ang meditation at ang breathing, ano mangyayari? You can now store more energy kasi kaya mong huminga ng malalim, di ba? Alright, nasundan nyo? At yun ang magsustor ng energy papasok sa'yo. Yung kaban mo lalaki at malalagyan siya ng energy, kaya nga pag nag-breathe ka ng life sa mga pangarap mo, mabilis yung pagpasa mo ng energy sa mga pangarap mo, kaya mabilis siya magkatotoo. Yung magnet mo lumalakas. Nasusundan ba ng lahat? Okay. So ngayon, nagkakaroon na kayo ng idea. Alright, so practice tayo, di ba? Pag sinabi ko inhale, lalaki yung tiyan nyo, push down your diaphragm, that will expand your lungs, then lalaki yung tiyan. Then pag exhale, liliit yung tiyan. Okay? Ready? Practice tayo. Ready, everybody? Take a deep breath. Inhale. Expand. Alright. Exhale out. Now, maraming ways to do breathing. No? It can be only using your nose, pwede rin mag-inhale sa nose, pwede rin sa mouth, alright? Now, personally, pag ako yung gumagamit ito, alright, sinanay ko yung sarili ko na ilong lang yung ginagamit ko. Hindi ako nagbe-breathe in sa bibig, alright? Para kahit normal na araw, kaya kong pumasok into a meditative state. Kasi mahirap naman na maraming tao, 'di ba, nasa MRT ka o nasa bus ka, bigla kang gumaganon ka, di nagmukha kang tanga, di ba? Hindi ka ngayon maka-alpha habang nasa bus ka, di ba? Matatawa yung katabi mo sa ginagawa mo, di ba? So, yun, no? So, nasa sayo yan, no? Pero for beginners, you can use your mouth, alright? Wala namang problema. Now, eto na yung gagawin natin. Para mag-expand yung container ng energy, kaya yan triangular. Actually, sinabi niya 4 kasi binilang niya yung space in between bago ka mag-cycle yung breath. Pero ang totoo niyan, 3 lang yan. So ano yung 3 ginagawa natin? O, ito na yung secret. Guys, makinig kayo. Dito na tayo matatapos, no, para gagawin na natin na actual. Inhale, yan yung first. Deep breath, inhale. Hold. The second, di ba ang triangle, 3 sides, 3. So, inhale. The next step is hold. Okay? Hold. And the next step is release. Okay, ulitin natin ha. Inhale, hold, then exhale or release. Nakuha nyo? O, ganito na, para hindi tayo malito. Inhale, hold, exhale. Kaya nga triangular. So ngayon, ang kailangan yung practicein para mag-expand yung container, gaano katagal nyo siyang kayang i-hold. Alright? So, nung nagsimula, kanina sinabi na niya actually, pero pinahapyawan lang nung nagtuturong doktor kanina, no? So, inhale, then sabi niya mag-start ka 1:1 muna. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Pero, sabi niya, para ma-strengthen yung breath, yung breathing power mo, di ba? Mag-expand lalo yung lungs mo, lumaki yung container, breathe in. 1, let's say count of, let's say for example, count of 5 ka. So ready, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. Pag hold mo, pag sinabi kong hold, ipo-push down mo, no? Para ang mafe-feel mo diyan, parang tinutulak mo yung diaphragm mo, kaya parang yung sa puwet mo, may mararamdaman ka sa puwet mo diyan eh. Parang gustong ma-jebs na wala namang lumalabas. Alright? Yun yung hold. Okay, nakuha nyo? So, parang yung dulo ng tumbong mo, may mararamdaman ka na tulak dun eh. Alright, so one more time. Inhale. Hold. Now, bibilang tayo. So, kunwari, ang inhale mo is, let's say, babaan muna natin, no? Inhale, 3 counts. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Hold ka ng 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, 3. Diba? Hold ng 6. Then exhale. Inhale, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 4, 5, 6, exhale. Alright, nakuha nyo? Sige, so ito na gagawin natin ha. Alright, magpa-practice tayo. Na-feel nyo ba yung hold? Yung pag-hold. Yung pag-hold, pinupush down, di ba lalaki yung chan mo, then pinupush down mo, mararamdaman mo yan sa dulo ng puwet mo. Sino nakaramdam dito nung medyo may parang light force dun sa puwet niya? Okay, sige lagay nyo nga dyan, naramdaman